So today I wanted to record something short as an antidote to a lot of the heaviness that can come up with this work. The symptoms, the intense sensations, the emotions. Just overall, it can feel very heavy. It can feel like a lot. Digging into your trauma coming to meet you, all your repressed stuff coming to meet you, the nervous system working through a lot. And in a lot of my videos I talk about acceptance. Dig in, go there, be with it, surrender to it, right? Surrender, acceptance, allowance. And that's all true. See the resistance and let it go. But I wanted to offer something else for the heaviness and the fact that this work, this act of meeting yourself, this act of sitting with what's here, meditation, right? Digging into your experience, setting aside distractions, setting aside avoidance. It doesn't always have to be so heavy, right? So that's what I want to talk about a little bit in this video, is touching into a different perspective, that yes, all of that's there, and yes, all of that's allowed, and yes, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with your deep resistance. There's nothing wrong with your shame, your guilt, your parts that have been hidden, right? That's what trauma is. It's these aspects of the self that have been told that they're not allowed to be, so we shove it away, and then it gets locked up in the nervous system and manifests as chronic illness and symptoms that don't go away, right? And all of that's allowed. All of that, we are opening our arms to every piece of ourself, every emotion, every sensation, right? Every physical symptom is a piece of you, and it's totally allowed. But amongst all of this, right, it can feel like we can get lost in the resistance, lost in the sea of stuff that's coming up, the sea of the shadow of all of this, right? It can feel overwhelming at times. And yeah, what I want to point to is this fact that shifting your perspective on what's here, that it doesn't have to, acceptance doesn't have to be this heavy burden. It can feel like that sometimes, but let's talk about it from a different perspective. And this perspective is that when you stop and you start to investigate your experience and you start to allow things to come up, you're also undertaking and opening up to this deep, mysterious investigation of what it is to be, of what it is to exist at all. Right? I spoke about this in one of my group meetings last night. I felt called to share this perspective, and it was really a beautiful shift from just focusing purely on the heaviness to look at the fact that even your most uncomfortable thing that triggers you the most, whether it's an emotion, a thought, a sensation, a symptom, it's vastly mysterious. It's arising in this experience that you are having, which, if we take a more of a macro perspective and we zoom outward, we're going to zoom out first, and then we're going to zoom in next. But if you zoom out first, that experience is happening to this human being that is on the planet Earth, that is in the solar system, in space, and you're on this rock kind of hurtling around in space, and you're having this experience, right? And when you zoom out to take this slightly more cosmic perspective, which I like to do, it makes everything quite a miracle, even the most uncomfortable experience. Again, we're not denying that this human experience can be very challenging, and that you might be being asked to face your deepest aspects of yourself. But if we zoom out a little bit, all these problems that the mind gets so caught up in, that, oh, I need to fix my life, I need to solve my life, I need to fix my health, I need to fix my finances, I need to fix my this, right? Everything is so serious. But it's fucking bizarre. This whole thing that we find ourselves in, it's absolutely insane. It's insane. And then we can zoom in as well. If you look at the experience of you at a closer and closer level, right? Let's talk about it first from a physiological perspective. The cells making up your body, right? All these millions of little cells that create this bigger thing of a body called you. And any one of these symptoms in your experience is actually being made up by millions and millions of little cells. No matter how unhealthy your body feels, the fact that you're still conscious, that you're taking in these words that I'm saying, that you can actually have this experience and comprehend and feel, and whatever it is, feel your toes, the fact that you can feel your pain at all. Again, I'm not denying that it can be uncomfortable, but it's a fucking miracle. It's absolutely insane that all of this is happening without your conscious control. You're not telling all of these little atoms that make up your feet, right? I'm looking at my foot right now. Within each cell, there's atoms that are holding together this experience of a foot. I'm not doing that. I'm not saying, okay, I need to really focus hard, otherwise my foot is going to just dissolve into atoms. No, that's all just happening, right? So when you look at it from either lens, this more macro lens or this more micro lens, either way, it shifts the lens on what you're experiencing. Yes, you can be experiencing a lot, but it's all part of this insane mystery, and it's all coming and going. It's not really sticking around, right? Everything in experience is arising, and at some point it's gone. And if you keep all of this in mind, it can make it easier to be with all of the heaviness that, wow, this is part of this brief human life that you're experiencing. It might feel like it's going on forever, but it really is, in a bigger perspective, such a brief passing to be here and have this experience. So keep that in the background, and then what comes up, it can feel difficult at first, it can feel like a problem at first, but it's a part of this vast mystery, this incredibly vast existential mystery of experience happening at all. The fact that you are here, being conscious, being you. It's just insane, but the mind completely misses this fact. The mind gets so fixated on the self and its problems, right? It's like, okay, it just thinks about me all day long. But who are you? What are you doing here? Right? It's a real, I want to kind of share the perspective of awe, of the awe of simple experience happening at all. And then this can take you deeper, right? This is what happened with me. I started to journal about this. I started to record videos for myself way back in the depths of my worst periods, and whenever I could touch into this perspective, it would make everything different, right? Even amongst the symptoms and the illness, it would be like, wow, this is insane. And yeah, I just look up at the sky and the stars and be like, I mean, it's just infinite, right? But we don't look at that. We look at our little phones all day long, and the news and what's happening here and there, blah, 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 blah. And then you can start to investigate. And this is what's beautiful to do with meditation, is the investigation of, well, what is experience even at all? The simple fact of being. Right, if everything is arising and passing in your experience, if all your symptoms, sure, they might feel like they're sticking around, but they are truly arising and changing and fluctuating, and it's never, one moment is never the same as the next. But what is this experience of awareness, this experience of being that is the same in all of this? Who is the one who has always been here? You fall asleep. In sleep, you disappear, right? You have the dream state, you have dreamless sleep, and in that dreamless sleep, there's no separate self. And yet, you come back the next morning, and then you're here again. So what is it that's always, what's stringing it all together, right? And certain words like awareness, the pure sense of I, being, these all point to the experience. But you can only taste it by investigating it, and you can use questions of inquiry. Who am I that is aware? Who am I that notices a thought? A thought says, I suck at meditation, I don't know who I am. But you're aware of that thought, are you not? How the fuck are you aware of that thought? What is a thought? Where does a thought arise? These kinds of questions can open up consciousness in a deeper way. All right, start to look back within and see that mystery is right here. That mystery is you, the one that is hearing these words. You're the mystery. Just as everything is the mystery, right? The macro perspective, the micro perspective, but the closest, you don't need to go anywhere to enter the deepest mystery of all, which is, who are you that is aware? What is it to be conscious? What is it to exist simply? And you need to put away external distractions to do this, and this is where the illness could be the greatest gift for you ever. Way better than any beautiful partner that could ever walk into your life, or material objects like a wonderful house or a wonderful car. I would never have gone down this deep path of exploring my own consciousness and the absolutely insane journey that is. And for me, it feels like the greatest journey that I could ever go on. I would never have done this if life had not plucked me out of the path that I was on through saying, stop, you're sick, you can't do any of that anymore. But I'm opening up the doors for something greater than all of that, right? So yeah, when things get heavy, what's the opportunity here? Yes, it's a crazy journey. This healing, awakening journey is one of the craziest, it is the craziest possible journey you could go on if you keep being willing to go deeper, keep being willing to explore more. It's like any epic adventure that has ever happened, any movie that you like to watch. It's boring if it's not an absolute roller coaster where you don't know if the hero is going to make it or not. Are they going to die? Are they going to be able to pull themselves through the absolute trenches and keep going? Right, so we talk about surrender. Surrender is the feminine aspect of total allowance. But we're also talking about this deep investigation, this deep journey, this deep drive to know who you are, to know why you suffer, to know why the fuck are you even here, to know what it is to be you experiencing. So it doesn't need to be so heavy. It can be this beautiful investigation, and there can be a lot of joy on this path as well. That's why we do this. That's why we dig in. So hopefully you can touch into this energy a little bit. That's what I'm trying to transmit here, is that it's not all doom and gloom. It can feel like it sometimes, but beneath that there's a light that keeps shining. There's a reason you watch these videos, and that you haven't just resigned yourself to, total desolation. Again, there can be a surrender, a giving up of the will of fighting, but it's a fine line, because there's not the giving up of the one that wants to keep exploring. Right? Again, your sense of self can change and shift and dissolve and all of that, but this drive to keep exploring is beautiful and it's powerful. So touch into it. What is this awaken in you, right? What is this sharing from me? What is that? What do you feel in yourself? Do you feel it? Do you feel that energy? Do you feel that different perspective? Hopefully. All right. Good luck.